This is the Masking Handbook for Audiometry. This video is on interaural attenuation, crossover, and cross-hearing. When we deliver a sound signal to a specific ear, attenuation refers to the amount of sound that will remain with that ear. Crossover refers to the amount of sound that might leave the intended ear and cross to the other side. We intuitively understand why bone conduction sound won't remain on one side when we deliver signals with a bone conductor. However, air conduction signals can cross as well, and they actually cross by traveling through the bone tissues of the head. So the crossover event is essentially a bone conduction event that we must be aware of even during air conduction testing. Interaural attenuation refers to the reduction in signal intensity between the ears. Having a low attenuation situation can make testing difficult. We want to deliver a signal to a specific ear and have the signal stay with that ear. A low attenuation condition means that the signal might cross to the unintended ear. A higher attenuation condition means that signals are more likely to stay with the target ear, especially at louder levels. Here's a collection of attenuation values that were researched using TDH-style supraaural headphones. As you can see, there's a wide range of possible attenuation situation between various subjects. We have a mean or medium attenuation value at 1000 Hz of about 60 dB. Our maximum interaural attenuation value at 1000 Hz is about 85 dB. Our minimum attenuation value found was 40 dB. Min-IA refers to minimum possible interaural attenuation. Here's a collection of the min-IA values for the various transducers. As we can see, insert earphones have a higher min-IA condition than the TDH style headphones. This means that purely because of interaural attenuation, insert earphones would be helpful to the clinician when completing audiometry. There's a mathematical relationship between the test signal level, the interaural attenuation, and the amount of crossover that occurs. If we know the attenuation and the signal levels, we'll know the intensity of the sound that crosses. For audiometry, we may not know a specific attenuation for every person, but we do know the minimum possible attenuation situation for that particular device and that particular frequency of the tone. So we can predict how much sound might cross to the other side. This is an important process in deciding when masking is necessary. So the items that we include to determine potential crossover would be the minimum possible attenuation and the intensity level of the test signal. If we know how much sound is potentially blocked, we'll know how much sound might be crossing over. So crossover equals the signal level minus the possible attenuation. In other words, potential crossover equals the test level minus the min-IA value. Let's take a look at a situation where there is no residual hearing in the right ear, and we're delivering air conduction signals into this ear. Let's deliver a 40 dB tone into the right ear. If the interaural attenuation characteristics, or min-IA values, for this situation are 40 dB, the amount of crossover will be 0. All of the test signal delivered to the test ear will stay on the test ear side. If we deliver a 70 dB tone into the right ear, the potential crossover will be 30 dB. There's a difference between crossover and cross-hearing. Whether or not we need masking hinges on the interplay between these issues. For example, in this situation, where the hearing of the left ear is pretty good, the left ear would be able to hear a 30 dB crossed signal. We would not accept that the unmasked right air conduction threshold as valid. We would determine that that right ear threshold at 70 dB would need to be masked. In this situation, where the left ear has kind of a mild to moderate sensorineural hearing loss, the left ear would not be able to hear a 30 dB crossed signal. The cochlear hearing of the left ear, as shown by the unmasked bone conduction result, shows that a 30 dB signal is below the audibility level. So we could accept that 70 dB air conduction response from the right ear. without having to mask it. As we know, it's possible during air conduction testing that even if you have an ear with no residual hearing, that we can deliver a test signal to that ear with air conduction and the person will respond. The problem is that they're not responding by hearing the signal in the test ear. It can cross to the opposite unintended ear, where they might be able to hear it. This is known as a shadow response. So when we see this situation, when we see that the potential crossover exceeds the cochlear hearing of the non-test ear, we know that masking is required. In fact, if we were testing a subject who had no residual hearing in the right ear and pretty good hearing in the left, and they also had lower than average attenuation characteristics, we could get results such as this. This is known as a shadow curve. This is why we need to use masking at times. So we are testing the ear that we want to test and not testing the opposite ear via crossed test signals. We don't use mean or maximum IA values to make this decision. For air conduction, we use the minimum possible known attenuation in order to decide whether masking is required. For bone conduction, we use a 0 dB theoretical IA value. Once a non-test ear is properly masked, we collect valid responses from the test ear because we've removed the non-test ear from the picture. This is the Masking Handbook for Audiometry. If you liked this video, you'll love the handbook. For more resources on masking and to learn how to purchase the book, check out maskinghandbook.com.